Well, Sussan Ley has said that all coalition policies are up for review as she looks to rebuild the Liberal Party after being elected by her colleagues as Leader of the Opposition with only a 4-vote lead. Issues such as gender quotas, nuclear energy and net zero targets are among those up for consideration amongst the Liberals, with Ms Ley promising to develop a new tax and economic narrative. For their take, let's bring in Employment Minister Amanda Rishworth and Shadow Finance Minister Jane Hume. Good morning to you. Jane, we'll start with you. As we know, you headed up the last post-election review. You're going to dust that off. Have they listened to any of the things you wrote in that?
Inevitably, the previous reviews will be considered as a sort of a basis for the new reviews, what was implemented, what wasn't, what worked, what didn't. But this really is a new era for the Liberal Party. It's very exciting to have our first female leader at the helm. And of course, Sussan Ley brings such a wealth of experience, both personal and professional. You know, she was an accountant, she was a pilot, she's a mother, she's a grandmother, she's been in Parliament for more than 20 years and had numerous portfolios. So this is really an exciting time for the Liberal Party, I think. It gives us a chance to reflect on what worked and what didn't during an election. Of course, that's really important. But most importantly, it gives us a chance to see what it is that we can do in the future to make sure that we deliver on our values and reflect modern Australia.
Because some people are saying, I think from within the Liberal Party, it was just the campaign. Wasn't a lot of your policies that were wrong? You just had a really bad campaign and bad ads. Is that right?
Well, no, I actually think that there's always more to it. I mean, it's not just what the government did and we didn't do, or Labor did and Liberals didn't. There are layers upon layers of what happens during a campaign. And this is a real opportunity now to take stock, see what works, what didn't, but most importantly, what is it we're going to do going forward? Because we believe that our values of choice and personal responsibility and freedom and reward for effort are really important Australian values. Now we make sure that the policies we take forward to the next election reflect those values.
Okay, the Albanese ministry was sworn in yesterday with the PM telling his cabinet to focus on delivering Labor's election commitment. So Amanda, people out there are probably a bit sick of thinking politics, talking politics, hearing everyone talk about politics. What are you going to do first for them?
Well, look, we are absolutely focused on getting on with the job, and just yesterday we discussed and finalised the submission that our government will take, arguing for an economically responsible minimum wage increase, a real wage increase for our lowest paid workers. That's something we committed to in the election, and something that is one of my first tasks on delivering. And so we will finalise that and put forward exactly what we outlined in the campaign. But of course, there's more to do. We need to get on with building houses. We need to build a stronger Medicare. Our focus is absolutely on delivery, and that's what we'll get on and do.
A lot of young people, the sole reason they voted for you was because they were going to get a HECS cut, free TAFE. When does that kick in?
Well, look, absolutely. That's a first priority as well. When the Parliament comes back, we will legislate to have a 20% discount in people's HECS debts, a really key policy that will help so many young Australians, but also working Australians that are sitting there with that HECS debt, finding it hard to pay off. So that will be a first order of business when Parliament resumes as well.
Okay, finally, not even a swearing-in ceremony can stop kids from getting up to their usual antics. Communications Minister Annika Wells upstaged right before she was sworn in. Take a look at this.
The Honourable Annika Wells MP as Minister... I'll try that again. Get your brother to kick the ball down that way.
That was PM and parent talk there.
The Honourable
Amanda, being a parent never stops, does it?
Well, I was incredibly worried that my 5-year-old would come up and join the football action, but my husband was busy feeding him. But it was really wonderful to see so many young children through Government House. The Governor-General has been very focused on supporting and encouraging to open up Government House to young people and children, not just politicians' children, but school children of Australia. So it was a really warm moment, but really wonderful to see so many young children running around.
Yeah, Jane, you just can't expect these ceremonies to go smoothly. It sort of lightens the mood, doesn't it?
I think that's actually fantastic that we've, seen families getting really involved, because they're quite formal ceremonies. But, kids get involved in all sorts of different ways. I got to, the first time I ever chaired a really important committee, I got called up by a school principal to tell me that my son had set off a fire extinguisher in the school hall. And I thought, wow,
Really?
you can't block real life out of the work that we do. So that's really nice to see it, play out in a good way at Parliament House, at Government House yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And when the 21st comes, that little boy will have a really good tape. The Prime Minister telling him to kick the footy the other way. Thank you very much. We will see you next week. Here's David.